The Coffin.
I don't know any night darker than that one night when the black cloud in the sky took possession of the moon, and then, within a moment, darkness enveloped everything. It was so dark that, whenever there was a flash of lightning in the sky, it was as if someone had clicked a picture of the city. It was almost midnight. There was silence everywhere. There was no person or species of any person in the city far and wide. But near the wall behind the cemetery, someone's whispering sound was coming. But where one is afraid to wander even in the day, what would one be doing there in the middle of the night? Now either ghosts are found in the dark or thieves. By the way, the presence of ghosts in the cemetery cannot be questioned, but a thief in cemetery, this is hard to digest.
There can be no better place than a graveyard to steal.
We had come last time too, but what happened? All the looted goods were caught. If this time also that old man came claiming himself as the keeper of the cemetery, we will not leave the fool without firing a shot.
Every time luck is not so bad, Ronnie. Let us go inside now.
Ronnie and James were thieves, but their style of stealing was different. They did not loot people's houses. Rather, by digging the graves of wealthy people, they would have stolen whatever they had. Because people who die do not write reports. Like every time. This time too they dug the grave of a wealthy colonel. But when his coffin was opened, both of them were shocked.
Oh my God, this is the same James.
A man reaps what he actually sows. You must have heard this proverb, but how does it happen? You will see this in this story of Dodo DV. Hello friends, I am your dear friend, Mr. Naughty, and today's story is inspired by Cabinet of Curiosity, whose name is the Cemetery Coffin.
Bats were fluttering in the ruins of the cemetery. The owl sitting on the branch of a tree, without blinking an eye, was watching two thieves digging the grave of a person. Then as soon as they opened the coffin, the sky was fluttering with the sound of the owl, and bats started hovering. One of them got down and said while pulling a chain from the neck of the dead body,
Look at the face of fool. He is not happy after death. It is now 12 o'clock on his face.
Don't say like that. Don't know where his soul is right now.
What difference does it make? Whose soul will ask us to return the looted goods?
Give all the loot here!
Hearing this voice from behind, both of them lost consciousness. For a moment they felt as if the soul of that man came out and asked him for his belongings. But here the matter was different. Looking back, a fat man with a revolver in hand was asking them for the looted goods. The thief thought that they were caught stealing. That's why, first they thought to distribute the looted goods. But with one scream of that man, the blood of both was about to dry.
Stop your nonsense. Do I look like a thief to you? The one who has come to collect his share. I am Sully, the keeper of this cemetery. And you cannot steal anything from the coffin in the cemetery while I am there. Understood? Now quietly keep the stuff here and keep walking. Otherwise.
Saying this, the fat man fired a bullet in the air, and the thieves escaped, leaving all the looted goods there. After which, Sully looked around him and got down in the grave and started looking at the dead body.
Oh ho! There is still more goods left here. It will get a good price in the market, and my debt will also be repaid.
Sully was also like the rest of the thieves who used to rob the dead body. He pulled a shining ring from the finger of that dead body, which was probably of gold. seeing which he became happy. But suddenly, when a swarm of bats passed over his head, out of fear, the ring dropped from his hand and fell back into the coffin. Sully was startled for a moment, as if someone had jostled him, but without delay, he thrust his hand into the crevice at the bottom of the coffin to find the ring. But the next moment, he jumped up as if he had been bitten by a snake. Blood started oozing from his trembling finger, due to which he started screaming. The whole cemetery was shaken by this one cry of his, and Sully himself also started trembling. When he looked down, a rat came out from inside the coffin, whose mouth was covered with blood, and the ring was stuck in his teeth. Sully had just stretched out his hand to remove the ring from his mouth. That's when the rat entered inside with the ring. Sully put all the looted goods on the cub's chest, started peeping where the rat was, but he could not see anything. On the contrary, he heard the sound of something moving, got up, and saw that there was a pile of rats who were going into the tunnel, dragging the dead body. Before Sully could pick up his cargo, the body had gone completely inside the tunnel. If anything was visible, it was the person's hair, which Sully tried to pull out by holding it, but failed, because fake hair came in his hand, and in one stroke, his looted goods went out of hand, and his to-be-fulfilled dreams too. But Sully did not give up, and started following the dead body in that tunnel, holding a torch in one hand and a revolver in the other. The more he was going inside, in the affair of his greed, the more he was getting away from his way out, which he understood when the dead body passed through a pit and fell straight down. Sully understood that now everything is out of his hands, so he started trying to get back. But now he could not turn and could not get up. He was not able to understand what to do. Then in front of him was the rat, which had bitten him. Seeing the rat, Sully fired at it in anger, after which it was torn to pieces. Seeing this condition of the rat, Sully started smiling, as if he had achieved some great success. But he was unaware of what was going to happen to him next. Soon there was a loud sound echoing in the tunnel. Sully could not understand what is this sound like. But the next moment, seeing the scene that came in front of him, he was forced to jump into the pit, because he could not go back. And beyond that pit there was an army of thousands of rats, who, with their sharp teeth, were waiting for Sully to step forward. After falling down the pit, Sully's eyes closed for a moment, but as soon as his eyes opened, he screamed, because the skeleton was lying on the bottom of the cemetery, and that dead body was right next to the one behind, which he had come here. Sully started running here and there in panic, but only then he looked at all the male skeletons a little carefully, then found that all of them were loaded with precious ornaments. All the fear disappeared from Sully's face in a moment, and he started laughing.
Someone has told the truth. God definitely delays in giving, but if he gives a lot. Come on, Sully, collect whatever you can. From now on, you don't need to bow down to anyone.
Sully worked hard for hours and collected as much gold and silver as he could. He was thinking of getting out of there. Then his eyes fell on a skeleton, sitting on a stone, who had a sword in his hand and an attractive locket around his neck. The sight of the locket only fueled Sully's greed. He immediately took out the locket from the neck of the skeleton. He had just gone a few steps away. Then he felt as if someone had grabbed him by the shoulder. As Sully looked back to see the same skeleton standing in front of him, from whose neck he had removed the locket.
It's mine. Return it to me.
Sully lost his senses. after hearing the voice from the mouth of the skeleton. But as soon as he could understand something from this, all the skeletons present there stood up and started saying, "Give me back what is mine." Seeing all of them, Sully could neither move nor speak. He could not even go back up to the pit. Sully understood that his death was now in front of him. The hellhounds were moving towards him, repeating their words, and Sully was retracing his steps with drying breath. While retreating, he collided with a wall, and as soon as he hit it, the wall collapsed. Now there was a tunnel in front of Sully, which was probably the only way to escape from there. Without thinking anything, Sully entered the tunnel, and by scratching the soil around the tunnel with his hands and feet, he started dropping it on the male skeleton below. Shortly after, the tunnel was closed with mud, and all the human skeletons were left shouting their words. Sully now begins to move upwards in the tunnel, hoping to be alive, but the picture of his greed had now burst. The tunnel in which he had worked so hard, its last end was a closed coffin years old, whose dead body the rats had already taken away. Sully has no choice now. He himself was trapped alive inside a coffin. Due to his greed, Sully had already got into the dust before his death.
What are you looking at, Ronnie? Open the coffin quickly. The Colonel was very richer. Today we will gain a lot of wealth.
Oh Lord, it's him, James.
Yes, the keeper of the cemetery. Poor man was a good man.